This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, I'm feeling jolly.
Yeah.
Got my belly's like a bowl full of jelly.
I noticed that. I really wish you kept your shirt on while we were recording, but you kept just saying it's hot
I wanted
in here.
to show off my belly, my jelly belly.
Yeah. I mean, and you were saying it's hot in here. You're profusely sweating, even though it's not hot in here. But I at least believe
you have
that you
no
feel
idea
hot.
how hot I keep my apartment in December, so I could show off my belly that is like a bowl full of jelly. A bowl full of jelly? That seems like, when would you ever put out a jar full of jelly, right?
I assume that they meant Jell-O, but you can't say Jell-O.
Oh, yeah.
in
That
a
happened to the
song?
band Green Jello, had to change their name to Green Jelly.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. You can't use Jell-O. You gotta use jelly. But I guess we're all just supposed to know as a society that sometimes when people say jelly, they mean Jell-O.
How are you doing this week, Tom?
I'm good, Tim. Jell-O is. I'm not done talking about Jell-O. I guess jelly. If you had like a bowl of jelly out, it would jiggle similarly to Jell-O.
It depends. I feel like it's more viscous.
Yeah, but it's similar enough. It's more similar than Jell-O is to like water. If you shook some water.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that would get everywhere. You were a big fan of the Jell-O commercials, right? And the talent involved.
You're talking about Bill Cosby, and no, I am not a big fan of the Jell-O commercials.
You're always
and the
walking
talent
around
involved.
singing "Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle those jigglers."
No, I don't even remember that commercial. I remember Jigglers, of course, but I don't remember
Yeah.
that commercial.
And you have the poster of the print ad with Dr. Cosby holding up the Jell-O in
Tim,
his hand.
you always refer to him as Dr. Cosby, like you're the one with some reverence for him. It was an
Look.
honorary degree. You don't have to call him doctor. He didn't earn anything. I think,
Yeah,
and they
that's
took
true.
all those degrees away from him, I'm sure.
Yep. This is the worst thing that ever happened to anybody.
Yeah. When you
Your
get
words.
your honorary doctorate that you use to then go around and claim you're a doctor when it's like, no, this college just wanted you to give a speech, man.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, what does he need that for? Especially at the height of his popularity.
Because
millions of dollars sitting on top of the world. This is the thing. You give me, like, not even a lot of money. You give me enough money that, like, I'm not, like, scared that I'm going to be at the poorhouse
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, money
I'll
that
shut
will
up and go away. I'll never ask anybody for anything ever again. I'm not going to be like, oh, no, I need to, like, accumulate accolades and, people need to, like, revere me. I'd just be like, oh, cool. I don't have to have a job. Cool. Bye.
Oh. I guess that's the difference between you and a convicted serial rapist, Tim. I don't know why you're like, I don't understand his thought process about using
He's
trying to
not
get a
the
doc.
He's not the only guy. He's not the only rich person that feels the need to get like validation from society
Yeah.
in
Well, but-
increasingly more visible ways.
But I think that's how they get there by just wanting more accolades and attention and compliments paid to them.
That's what makes them high achievers
Yeah.
in life.
And then they don't have a wall. There's not a place they're looking to get to except the top.
What about the children of rich folk and celebrities, where it's like, oh no, I want to I don't want to, but like Steve Jobs' daughters, like I want to be a model. Why don't you just not be a model and just like sit around and just hang out?
Because then they think then like people will just judge them as like, oh, you never accomplish anything for yourself. But at the same time, it's like she doesn't want to like cure cancer. She's like, no, I want to be able to, when somebody asks me at a bar or a club what my job is, I can say model instead of having a very rich parent.
Yeah.
Because nobody ever says
socialite.
That. I mean,
I say socialite.
We know people from, very well-off families and like, when you ask them what they do, they never mention like, oh, also like the way I'm able to afford the lifestyle you're seeing on a job, I'm going to tell you that you're going to think like, I don't think that job makes that much money.
Right.
That, I also have like an unlimited supply of money if I need or want it.
Yeah. And that's admirable, I guess. But how about if you're in this position, right?
Yeah.
You're just a guy who lies down most of the day because you've inherited a bunch of money, and somebody says, "Oh, what do you do at the club?" You just go like this: "Don't worry about it."
What do I do? Guess what? I'm your boss. I just bought the company you work for,
and you're fired.
You're fired. I mean, also in fairness, Tim, the type of person you're describing outnumber the people we know like 1,000 to 1. It is.
Yeah, that's true.
It is the Steve Jobs' daughter decided to be a model, but I think Bill Gates' daughter was like, "Nah, I'll just be rich. That'll be my job."
Yeah.
Or
Seems like fun.
you can like start riding show ponies or something. That's a thing. Rich kids like to do.
Yeah. And hey, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I guess I don't know what my point was. I think it's just that I'm jealous of rich people because I don't want to do anything ever. Tom, as I alluded to earlier, 'tis the season for festive lights and trees adorned with ornaments.
And gifts given.
Yes. Holiday times, of course. And what do we do at the holidays? We give gifts to our family and friends and loved ones.
Yep.
This show has been a lot better since I started scripting out my intros like this.
Yeah, it really
it's like
has
poetry.
been. Yeah, well, I was going to say it's only because the writing is elevated to such a level.
Top notch, yeah.
We're talking about Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
Tim,
holiday shopping, you can get gifts for other
yes, you can get gifts.
But we don't know how.
We don't know how.
I'm not going to get somebody 8 gifts.
Yeah, that's
I get one gift for somebody. I'll give you one gift on one day.
I think if I were a dad and I were Jewish, I would use Hanukkah just to like mess with my kids all the time. I would just cut every gift into 8 pieces and give it to them one piece at a time.
Well, that seems horrible.
I mean, I wouldn't do it with something that you couldn't put back together. Maybe I wouldn't cut it up. I would.
If you're giving them like a big, pepperoni or salami or something.
What? Why would I give them a big salami?
That way you can cut it into a bunch of pieces.
Yeah, but
and they're gonna cut it into pieces eventually to eat it anyway.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about because, they can just eat the salami as I give it to them. I'm talking about like buying a remote control car, cutting it up into pieces. And it's like, well, this morning I got a tire. What am I going to do with that? I guess I've just got to wait for my idiot dad to give me the next 7 gifts so I can finally put this together and use it.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, like, who in your household is going to put that together?
Yeah, probably me it would be.
Yeah, but, like, I bet you'd really be... I don't think you'd take use the care necessary to disassemble it that would enable you to reassemble it in a working fashion.
Yeah, you're probably right. I would probably just go with what you said. Give them sausage every day.
Yeah, because think about this. You said they could eat that piece of salami, but so good. Like, you don't want to completely alienate your kids, and then but they're also like, I'm a little disappointed that my gift was only an eighth of a salami.
Yeah.
Right? But then at the end of the 8 crazy nights, as they say, they're like, oh, that's a pretty big salami, looking back on it.
Looking back on it, I think they would probably be like, I still wish I got more of the salami, each time. Tim, we're not here to talk about giving out presents. That'll be next week. We're here to talk about shopping for presents.
And maybe we all do.
The week after that, we'll have to do making presents.
Right. Well,
when's the last time you made a present, you think?
I don't know that I've ever made a present. Like, maybe probably like third grade or something, where put some glitter on a thing.
I was thinking about that because, like, I don't know, I was watching some holiday bullshit the other day, and they were just talking about, like, it's so much better to give from the heart and, like, give something that you made for yourself. And I'm like, lady, I don't have time to make gifts for everybody. Also,
you can make. My plan this year is I'll have to be quiet because she's here. I'm going to write. I have written my wife a song, and I'm going to record it with the surviving members of the Eagles.
Wow.
Yeah, and then she'll have that to cherish forever.
Is she a big Eagles fan?
No.
Yeah.
But I am.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it sounds like it's a dream
I
come
get
true
to meet
for
Don
you.
Henley.
You get to meet Don Henley?
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet that'll be exciting.
Don't tell her.
Tim, I wouldn't dream of telling her. Also, like, it's getting pretty close to Christmas. When's all this going to happen?
Yeah, last minute. I mean, that's the thing. It could be a last minute when you're making somebody something.
And those rock and roll types, it's I might be in the opium den next week. Yeah. You're gonna have to. I don't plan things out in advance.
The Eagles they're buttoned up, Tom. They're businessmen.
Nowadays they are.
Yeah, nowadays they are, and that's what I'm getting them. It's costing me a pretty penny, Tom.
Right. Well,
I'm using my family's fortune for it.
They've finally figured out how to milk their fans like you.
All right, look. We're talking about Christmas shopping, not the goddamn Eagles and how greedy
you
they
brought them up.
I know, but then you started talking about that I'm being milked by them or something.
Yeah, milked. They're all probably sitting around right now laughing, going, "We got a cow here that's ready to burst. We got to milk them."
Yeah, and then one of them does I got nipples, Fokker. Can you milk me?
So one of them does the joke you always do when you hear the word nipples.
You wish I always made that joke. It's a good joke.
It is a good joke. Tim, how much of your holiday shopping have you done so far, would you say?
I'd say 95% of it.
Wow, really?
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I don't have to buy for anybody anymore.
Oh, I see.
My parents, they told me this year, they're like, don't get us anything. But that seems like a trick. So I got them a little something, but not,
Yeah, but you've got
usual.
the baby now. Like, you can just not give the baby as a present, but you can just get a photo book printed out of the baby or stuff like that. And they'll love it.
Exactly. All that stuff is great, and you can just hey, 2 copies, one for each set of grandparents.
Yeah, they'd rather that than another George Foreman grill.
They get a lot. They go through those things very quickly.
They put
Those
plastic
things wear
in
out
there.
quicker than you think when you're using it for every meal.
They put plastic in there, and every time you tell
I
them,
know, yeah.
guys, you can't put plastic in there.
Dad, it's the one thing you can't do.
Like, well, I guess we know what you're gonna get us for Christmas, and then you all laugh together.
Mm-hmm. They love it. It's got the fat catcher.
So you just shopped for your wife and son and me?
Now my wife and I decided like we're not gonna get each other presents. Mostly because, do you agree? Shopping for gifts or thinking about what to get somebody is too hard and not pleasurable. It's not like receiving a gift or thinking about what you want for yourself.
See, I don't find like thinking about what I want for a gift pleasurable either.
I didn't until you start going to gift guides and you go, okay, this is nice. And then I guess I could be like, oh, I guess I could also see what would fit for other people.
Yeah.
But then I start thinking about what I want and I compile my list and I send that out.
So it's just you're naming who you were giving gifts to.
My son.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you.
Okay. Ooh. Are you waiting to see if I end up on the naughty or nice list?
Yeah. My parents.
Uh-huh.
My niece and nephew.
Oh, okay. So a lot of those are kids, which is kind of fun, right?
Yeah. You get them like slime and stuff.
Well, let me ask you this. You have a niece and nephew who are around what ages?
3 and 5.
Okay. Do you ask their parents like what they need, what you should get for them, what they want, or do you just go rogue and decide for yourself?
Okay. I was just having this conversation with my wife because I've never done the like, I'm going to get you an uncle gift that's going to be like a little off kilter or like might like cause your parents to be like, oh, hey, yeah, thanks, Uncle Tim.
That might cause your parents to say, we're taking this right back to Spencer's Gifts tomorrow.
Exactly.
I don't know why they even sold him this. I didn't know they sold these kinds of things.
Yeah, I always ask my brother, hey, what should I get these kids? Because like they got an idea of what the kids want.
Right.
I don't talk to kids very often.
Well, here's my problem with that. I remember as a kid, like a lot of, well, I guess it depends on what they say they want. If they're like, I want, I don't know, a baseball. Nah, even that. I just remember times when I was a kid where miscommunications would lead to me not getting the thing I wanted.
Right.
So it was like, all right, I think my parents would be like, okay, here's the list. We'll tell these grandparents, get them this, and we'll tell this grandparent to get them this. And, you know, they go to the store and they're like, I'd like to buy a Sony Nintendo, please. And they're sold something close to what you
Is that
wanted?
how you wound up with a Sony and or a Sega and a Nintendo as a kid?
Yeah, they went to the store and said, a Nintendo Sega, and no, Tim, I wanted a Sega.
I feel like you've used this Sony Nintendo example a number of times in the past. Did that actually happen?
No.
Or is that just one of your biggest
Well,
fears?
no, I'll tell you what did happen, and it was even more like petty on my end. Do you remember Robotech?
Vaguely.
It was like a cartoon, and there was the coolest thing about it was that there were planes like fighter jets that could then turn into robots, turn into like anthropomorphic man-sized robots that would then fight.
Transformers.
Yeah, basically Transformers, but cooler looking, in my opinion.
Right.
And my grandmother was like, given that, like, oh, he wants a Robotech thing. And they bought me like, it must have been pretty expensive because it was like big. It was like bigger than the thing I wanted. But all it did was you could fold the legs out. So it could be like a plane with legs. But the rest of it didn't transform. The rest of it was just, like an airplane.
Why did they even make that thing?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It's like I can only blame my grandparents so much because they shouldn't have even been on the store shelves. And I remember, like, I think probably right after I opened it, being like, this isn't what I wanted.
Sounds about right.
And like, being told by my parents to like can it, be grateful. It's a nice gift. So then I never got a Robotech that transformed.
Oh man.
So that's what I'm saying.
Well, is that why you're scouring eBay for it these days?
Well, and I think, I still want it. I probably like asked for it for my birthday. But understandably, my parents were like, you've got something just like that. We're not going to buy you another thing that's just a little bit different. You move on from these toys. Were you like,
all right, well then freaking throw this one in the fireplace and then I don't have that one anymore.
It's like, well, take this one and shove it up your ass. So that's where I think, you have to be careful with taking like orders from although you know what, it's a lot easier nowadays because I'm thinking about it, and like when I'm told my niece, get her this, it's like an Amazon link, so it's hard to screw up.
Yeah, it also takes all the fun out of gift giving. Which, look, I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's fun to be like, it's fun because I also think like this needs to be the most thoughtful gift, and it needs to be better than every gift that they get from somebody else.
Yeah, I think it can be fun. I enjoy toy shopping, like for my niece.
Yeah, I overthink it.
But I think if it's somebody that it's hard to find a gift for, then it's not fun.
I aspire to be a thoughtful person, but I'm not smart enough to be thoughtful.
I was going to say you aspire. I haven't seen much effort put in on that front.
I'd like to be a guy that like really comes across as a thoughtful guy. But it's not that I don't have the desire. I just don't have the capacity. I don't have the fortitude for it.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing that I think does help, and I think does make it easier to get like a thoughtful gift, is like buying a gift when you see it during the year.
Yeah. I've tried to keep a notes file for that.
Uh-huh.
In my phone.
We're doing that, yeah.
But then they're always just random, like, waffle iron, dad. And it's like, what? Like, there's no title to it.
What, you can't decipher that note, Tim? What the hell does this mean?
No,
in the context of Christmas presents, what could waffle iron dad mean?
No. It's just that, like, how do you search for that in a bunch of notes around Christmas unless I remembered the thing that I was writing down, in which case I wouldn't need to refer to the note in the first place. Yeah,
and I guess you would keep better notes if you were more thoughtful, but that goes back to the initial problem.
I don't have the smarts to be, or the organizational skills to be thoughtful.
I don't have the smarts to title my notes. Gift ideas.
I mean, maybe I have the smarts. I'm just also very lazy, Tom.
Yeah. Well, but do you ever buy stuff during the year where you just see it and you're just like, oh, yeah, that would be a good gift for this person?
No, I've never done that once in my life. Have you?
Yeah, I do that. And I think that's what makes me a more thoughtful person.
Tom, this is a pizza dough situation.
This isn't a pizza dough situation. I've given you gifts that like I've had for a while. Because it was like, oh, I saw this and I was like, it's a good gift for Tim.
Tim begged me for this in September.
Come on, please. I know you've got the money for it.
Come on, Tommy, want it.
If I tell somebody else to buy it, they'll get the wrong one. But I think that's because it is hard to kind of be put on the spot, in the last month of the year when you've got a bunch of other crap going on too, to be like, oh, all right, let me sit down for an afternoon and just think about every person that I could give a gift to, and what the most thoughtful gift would be within a certain price range too, of course.
I'll tell you something, Tom. I love this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the commercialism and the stuff that a lot of people hate about this time of year. I like walking into a mall in mid-December, just being like, okay, I got to get stuff for this list of people, and I'm never happier than walking into that mall. And then inevitably, I don't see anything or can't think of anything that I want to get. And I usually leave probably completely empty-handed, and then I start to panic.
Do you start to panic right then and there?
Yeah. Walking out of the mall, walking back to my car is oh, you really stepped in it this time, Tim.
Yeah. You're leaving the place where you were supposed to find stuff. I feel like I've done that and had moments where I've turned around and gone back because on the walk to the car, I've realized no, it's usually when it's last minute shopping and it's nope, I'm not going to have enough time to get something, delivered to me.
Yeah.
I've got to go back in there, and
it's now or never.
Yeah. And this is just, that's the new constraint. What is the best gift within this building that I can give person X?
But then I start to spiral. I'm like, do I even really know my father? And what is it? It's just what kind of life am I living that I haven't made an emotional connection with my brother, that I can't find one goddamn thing in this whole shopping mall that he wouldn't hate.
Yeah. Well, but it's hard when it's somebody well sometimes, I think, because you'll see stuff and you'll be like, I know they would like that, which means to me they may already have that.
Right.
Like a waffle iron. You knew your dad would like a waffle iron, and you probably thought, well, if he would like a waffle iron so much, I bet he would have bought this, or maybe somebody else in the family bought him one.
See, Tom, that shows how much you know my dad. He's a pancake guy, not a waffle guy.
Well, Tim, speaking of going to malls to go Christmas shopping, this past week I went to I'm gonna say it's got to be one of the biggest malls. Certainly one of the biggest mall I've been to, the weirdest mall I've been to, the mall with more unique things than any mall I've ever been to. It's called the American Dream. You know about this mall?
The American Dream in New Jersey, United States.
Yes, in the state of New Jersey in the United States. Do you know about this mall?
Only from what you told me before you went to it.
Yeah, it was. So it's owned by the same company that owns Mall of America. The world's
Minnesota?
Yeah, the
Minneapolis?
World's biggest mall.
Right.
So it's owned by the same company. They've been, trying to get this mall built for 20 years. And it's finally built. It was going to open. Its original opening date was March 19th, 2020, which was not a good day.
Not an advantageous start to a public place.
Yeah,
which open
you don't
to
want to
attract
open
thousands
up
of people.
an indoor public space that you're hoping, hundreds of thousands of people, millions maybe even throughout the year will come to. That was a bad time to be doing it.
I mean, I feel like over the years, this was supposed to like open like probably the original target date was like March 19th, 2009.
Yeah.
And then like there's just so many levels of like grift and like Chris Christie shenanigans that went into this.
The original plans for it, Tim, were started in 1994.
Whew.
Yeah, so this mall's been, a long time coming. And since 2002, it's been this idea of like, a gigantic mall. I don't know if the 1994 plan was necessarily that, but by like 2002 was when it was like, yeah, we're going to build like a humongous mall.
I'm jealous looking at this now. Why didn't you invite me to come with you?
I don't know. I didn't feel like it.
Your girlfriend doesn't like me?
My fiance, Tim.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your fiance doesn't like me?
Yes. No. Tim, what if I was doing Christmas shopping for you and then I would have to keep things behind your back the whole time?
See, here's the thing, Tom.
I said
you say you're going there to do.
The only place that could possibly have a gift for Tim is the world's biggest mall.
Tom, see, I don't know that you got any shopping done because from what I'm seeing here from lovingnewyork.com, the American dream, 55% entertainment and 45% retail.
Yeah, that's...
So 55% of the stuff in there was just looking to tickle your fancy. You need to get down to business and start buying people Christmas gifts.
Yeah, I spent all my time inside the store, the fancy tickler, getting my fancy tickled. I was going to say, because like I went into this experience thinking this was like a gigantic mall, and technically it is, but not in the way Mall of America is, I think. Although Mall of America has some similar things going for it. The reason why this mall is so gigantic is it has three things that make it gigantic. One is a indoor ski slope.
Very cool.
So there is like an entire section jutting out of the building that looks like, jutting out of the building at like a, not 45-degree angle, maybe like 30-degree angle.
How high does it go?
It goes pretty high. I mean, I was on.
Do they have a ski lift?
No, they have stairs.
Okay.
I would say by the look of it, it was like about a football field away. The slope, that's how like long it was.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, not the same as like I think going to like a ski resort, but still fun. A lot easier than getting to a ski resort.
Yeah. Did you ski?
No. There was like a big line. There were a lot of people there. I was surprised, but I guess it makes sense, with their own equipment. That I think, those people aren't going to like shop afterwards. It's like, oh, I'm going to go spend, a couple of hours working on my skiing at the the indoor ski slope nearby.
Right. Huh.
So
Seems like a waste of time.
Yeah, it didn't seem super friendly to just somebody who's never skied before. Like you can just go up and it seemed like it was very much targeted at like people who already know how to ski but don't want to drive, a couple of hours away at least, let alone, when the when the weather's warm here. Like there's no, we don't have mountains that are high enough to have snow on them year round.
Do you think you'll ever get into skiing?
I don't think so. I've made it 41 years without even trying it so far.
Yeah.
So.
You're more of a snowboard guy, I see.
No, not even snowboarding. I don't know. I don't think so. And especially now that like I'm older and the idea of like something that's going to be like hard on my knees is now like a I don't want to do that.
Oh, Tom, you're going to turn into a curmudgeon by 45.
If they could put me on some kind of a seat and just push me down, I'd be into that. They did have
You think bodies break down way quicker. I remember when we were in our early 20s. Our friend Nick would always like run around and stuff, and like
you're describing him like he's a toddler. Yeah, you would get the zoomies. He would run back and forth in the living room.
I remember you just saying like, Nick's got to be careful. We're not teenagers anymore. He's like, yeah, he's like 22 though.
Yeah, it was. We were still basically invincible.
Yeah, exactly.
So this place had a ski slope, so that's one reason why it's huge. The second reason is it has an amusement park called Nickelodeon Universe that is in there. So
if you tell me that you guys got slimed there, I'm gonna be so pissed.
I don't think they had anything like that. It looked like it looked more like Nickelodeon had bought naming rights than it was necessarily like a Nickelodeon themed place. Like yeah, it was that same kind of color palette, I guess, and there were maybe some character things and characters that come out in costumes, but the ride seemed like fairly generic from what I could see.
Oh yeah, really? Even the roller coaster called Shredder's Mutant Masher?
Yeah, see, I mean, I didn't even know by glancing at it. Oh, that's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed roller coaster.
Or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shell Shock?
Ooh, what is that?
It
like bumper
appears
cars?
to be. No, it's like one of those things where like you go in a thing and it like flips you.
Oh, flips you around, yeah. Yeah, they had like a lot of that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, this is not a reference that's relative to anyone outside of people that grew up on Long Island, but it was like an Adventureland style amusement park. So like a full step below a Great Adventure, maybe even 2 steps.
Several steps below, yeah.
Yeah, but I would say a step above a carnival.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
of course. Like I bet things were like properly bolted into the ground and stuff.
Yeah, and things were designed for that space or designed for a small
right.
space. So there was also that, and then there was a third place called DreamWorks. I think just DreamWorks Water Park, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, DreamWorks Water Park, which is a water park, as the name implies, that has Shrek and stuff.
That's pretty cool. You like Shrek? Did they just play Smash Mouth's All Star on a loop?
No, it seemed like they had. I don't know if maybe they designed it this way or they had some problems, but it seemed like that was the case. There were like you couldn't really see in there. Like there was like a place that seemed like it was obviously designed to be like a place for people to check out the water park, like a big window that was in like a very public area. But then that just had like etchings and stuff all over it, so you really couldn't see anything.
Yeah, you gotta see it to believe it, Tom. Where you gotta spend
Well,
the cash if you want to splash.
Well, that's the thing. It made me wonder. Like, did they have problems? With like creeps or something.
Probably.
Standing here and
It's
watching
in Jersey, Tom.
Because at the same time, I'm looking at it and thinking like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy because I'm trying to find I'm seeing it as $45 for the Nickelodeon park. I think the water park was around the same to get into, and it's like I'm not paying $50 to get into a water park that I can't take a gander at first, make sure it's up to
not even the largest indoor water park in North America.
Not even that, because honestly, I've never been to one. I've got nothing to put it up against.
Yeah.
Maybe they bring
either.
they bring me into the next room, and it's just a little like one of those play school slides going into a little kiddie pool.
Well, you could have probably
And
done
they
some
go,
research ahead of time. I'm taking a look at some of the attractions.
You didn't do your research, sir. That's why we say this shouldn't be the first water park you come to in North America. You should have a general idea of how small they are.
Yeah. You
but
should know how big you want it to be.
But where this glass was kind of etched, there were some places where you could kind of like lean over into the window and then you could see. And it was like, this is inconvenient. But guess who doesn't care about being inconvenienced? Creeps.
Right. That's true.
It was like, guys.
So you just leaned right over and took a gander?
I leaned over and I could see in there. I was like, holy shit, that is pretty big. Where they have like wave pools that you can like surf on and stuff.
Yeah.
And some pretty big looking slides too.
Yeah, it seems pretty intense. We should go there, Tom.
Yeah. Well, I did go there, like I said, but I just looked.
I know. I mean, you should invite me.
But the thing is, like, it's such a spectacle. You would think they'd want, because like the Nickelodeon park, there was like a huge like Nickelodeon green and orange like screen kind of thing leading you there, and then once you got there, like you were above the park, so you were looking down on it. So there was definitely an element of like, holy cow, that's cool, like let's buy tickets and go.
Yeah.
But this,
well, the water
there
park,
was like no way you would just kind of see it.
Dang mall smelling like chlorine.
I don't think that had anything to do with it. It's just, I would think you'd want to show people like, look at this, like, because I was genuinely shocked at how big it was. And I would think a lot more people, if they saw it, would pony up the $50 or whatever and go check it out.
Well, Tom, maybe you can become CEO of the mall.
I would love to be
turn
CEO.
Things around.
I would
Tom,
love to be
is this true?
CEO of this mall. Is what true?
According again to lovingnewyork.com,
the water park is $79.
Yeah,
$79.
It's the largest one in North America, Tom.
Who
you
gives
clod,
a shit?
you buffoon.
$79. I don't even get to go outside. But I'm looking at the picture again, and man, it is pretty cool looking. I'll pay it.
All right, this
I'll
is what
pay
it says.
any
It says,
price.
do not come here to shop on a Sunday. The American Dream Mall is located in Bergen County, one of the few remaining counties with the so-called Blue Law. The Blue Law limits shopping on Sundays, meaning that retail stores remain closed that day of the week. Everything else inside the entertainment complex is open as usual. So they close all the stores because of this puritanical Blue Law?
Yeah, I get. Or the attractions are open though. It sounds like maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
As we all know, entertainment is 55% of the experience.
Right. I think I read that somewhere. Yeah. I knew about that because when I worked at an Apple store, there was another Apple store in not this mall obviously, but like a different mall in Bergen County. And like sometimes we would have to call them for parts or whatever. and you'd be standing there, the phone's ringing and ringing. You're like, guys, nobody working, nobody's picking up, and then you realize, or somebody else tells you, like, oh no, that store's closed on Sundays because all the stores in the mall are closed on Sundays. And I think I even heard a story once about like a manager that, I don't know, like forgot something, so they went back to the store on Sunday and they got like a huge fine for even like having an employee not even open a store, just go into a store. It's like, you cannot be here on Sunday.
Is this a church thing, or is it a labor thing? Like,
yeah. Well, I was gonna say it's got to be a church thing, but yeah, I mean, maybe it's a labor thing that like predates the weekend, even.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like,
I mean,
oh
it
no,
would be nice for retail employees where it's like, you have this day of the week.
Yeah,
every week.
every Sunday you've got off. Yeah, that's definitely. And you know, like I was saying, where it sounds like you can't even be in the store, then it's like, oh yeah, and they can't even be like, oh, but we're gonna do training on Sunday, or we're gonna count inventory. Like we'll find something to ruin your fuckers' weekends. So yeah, it sounded nice.
Seems weird.
But yeah,
seems weird to build like, hey, we're going to build the biggest mall in America in one of the very, very few places in America
that is closed 1/7 of the week.
Exactly.
Yep.
We're legally not allowed to open these stores.
Yeah, I mean that's why this thing's taken forever to build. I think there's just like a whole bunch of elements that don't make sense. And I think even I would include that the water park costs $80 to get into. It didn't look like there were very many people in there. And I think because like, I don't know, if you're a family, you know, what is that? Like a $320 for a family of 4 to go in this water park. Yeah, the kids' tickets are probably a little bit cheaper, but still.
Yeah, but Tom, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes it's expensive to go on the water.
Not always. Doesn't have
Sometimes.
to be. But yeah, so to my point about this mall, they have these 3 giant attractions, and the mall itself was big, but not even big enough, I think, that I would have been like, holy cow, this mall is big if it didn't have these 3 things attached. I think I would have gone to it and been like, this is a normal mall that is on the big side. But part of that...
Was it worth the trip?
Yes, I enjoyed...
Shop it or plop it down the toilet?
Plop it on the toilet?
Down the toilet.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a classic shop it or plop it.
Because if you plop it on the toilet, then it's like, well, now I got to clean that up.
Yeah. No, you got to lift the seat. No. What do you get? What do you rate it? Do you shop it? Or do you plop it down the toilet, Tom?
You know what? I think gun to my head, I'd have to plop it down the toilet.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a way to spend a Saturday.
I'm glad I did it. Like, it was impressive to see. I don't think I would ever go there again. I certainly wouldn't go. If I went there again, it would be to visit one of these attractions.
Yeah. Did you consider visiting one of the attractions once you had gotten there?
No, because they were all...
There was no discussion.
There was no discussion of it. We were there to Christmas shop. Of which I left the mall empty-handed. I did not buy one single gift.
Happens 100% of the time.
But it was never even considered like, hey, let's throw down $80 each. And I mean, we didn't have bathing suits for the water park.
The water park, the Nickelodeon Fun Zone.
It didn't look that fun to justify the $40. It was like, you know, I think that's the other thing. It's like kind of the last thing you want to do after you've been walking around for hours is standing in a line. So like
Yeah.
that didn't seem appealing, especially I think that it was like, oh, my legs are already tired from walking around so much. I don't want to have to like pay $45 just to like go wait in some lines to go on these little tiny roller coasters that are probably going to like hurt me more than anything else.
Yeah. That's fair. Maybe you just shouldn't have gone to the mall, Tom.
But I like the spectacle of it. But if I need to go to a mall to shop, I'm not gonna go to this again. It was also like, it took like an hour to get there, even though it's like, I don't know, probably if it went up on the roof,
12
you could
miles
see
away,
it. But yeah, not very easy to get there. Not very easy to get out either. Like one of those GPS jobs where it's like, I'm barely watching the road. I'm just watching the GPS on my phone because I'm having to like decide which of these 5 roads to take every 10 seconds.
Tom, I had a meltdown trying to get from Jersey to Manhattan after a trip recently. Like, because you're right. You just have to look at your phone and be like, am I on the blue line still on my phone? Like,
yeah.
Like, you can't even, you don't know. There's too many ways to go.
This road's about to divide in 2, and right before that, there is also an exit. Which of these
right. And
3
none
things?
of the signs line up with what the verbiage on your GPS says.
Because all the signs have like 5 lines of text on them of like, this is the way you get to 280. Also 95, also 235, like, but they're calling it like, the old name for that bridge, but your GPS has the new name for the bridge.
Throw it in the trash. Throw New Jersey in the trash, right?
Yeah. Whole place is designed like a maze.
It's to keep people like us out, Tom.
Yeah,
they don't
and
like
to keep them in.
brash New Yorkers there. Tom.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't do any Christmas shopping, but you talked about this mall for like 45 minutes of the Christmas shopping episode.
Oh, and I'm looking at wait, did you ask a question just now?
Yeah.
What was the question?
You didn't do any Christmas shopping, but you talked about the mall for 45 minutes just now?
I heard
in the
that
Christmas
part.
shopping episode? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well,
it was a clarifying. It was. Can you confirm that this is in fact?
It
the
was
case?
a rhetorical question. But I'm looking at my notes, Tim, and there's 2 things I forgot to say about this mall.
Okay, great.
One, I have here in my notes, dumb little things you can ride. They have these dumb little things you could ride around the mall.
You or kids?
Mostly for kids, but there were a lot of smaller kids with adults with them riding it, like the adults driving it.
Gotcha. And they're like these like animal things, right?
Yeah, not geared towards adults, but apparently strong enough so that an adult could go on it with a little kid.
Right. Like if I wanted to bring my 1-year-old on it, I could do that.
Right. Because, you're not going to trust him to drive himself on there. It's kind of like
he drives a car pretty well.
It's like a rocking horse, like that kind of design. You're sitting on it, but all the feet have wheels, I guess. And, they've got like ones that look like a horse, one that look like a panda, one that looked like a My Little Pony.
This sounds cool to me.
I mean, it looked cool. Like if I were a little kid, I would have loved it. But it was also like kind of insane because we're like walking by and it's like, wow, they just like rent these things out. This mall's like already pretty crowded. And then there's just like a store you could go to rent something to ride around the mall on.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I don't know. Walking by it, I almost got hit by like 5 of these things. So,
Tom, you are
shaking my newspaper at him. Hey, watch it.
Stay home, old man.
Well, Tim, you're not going to think I'm so old and lame when you hear the final thing I wanted to talk about with this mall, which was going to Spencer's Gifts.
Great. You find a way to bring up Spencer's Gifts 4 times an episode.
Tim, Spencer's Gifts is filthy now. All the stuff that used to be in the back, that's up in the front now.
Like all the bachelor party gifts.
Yeah.
Like fake boner pills and stuff.
Yeah.
Gag boner pills.
Yeah, or like a cane with a mirror on it so you can look up women's skirts, like those kinds of things.
Wait, what?
Yeah. They had those. I mean, they were like a gag gift.
They did.
Yeah, it was like a gag. You couldn't actually use this thing. It was very conspicuous. I mean, you could use it.
The mirror had etchings all over it.
You could use it, but somebody would notice. It was a joke gift. But now, Tim, prominently displayed in the front of the store, right when you walk in, a shirt that says "Legalize Eating Ass."
That's funny, though.
It's
funny that that's at the mall. There's kids riding by on those little rocking horses, and that shirt is on prominent display.
They had to use smelling salts to revive me after I saw that shirt. But luckily, they had a fart spray that they sell there, so they just kind of held that under my nose until I regained consciousness. Going, ew, who beefed?
Who beefed?
Yeah. They had coffee mugs that said "I eat ass," for work.
It seems like a lot of ass eating.
Yeah, and then when you go into the back, Tim, first off, they've got like stoner stuff back there.
Yeah, well, legalize it, man.
Yeah,
or it is legal.
They were which was kind of funny because like all the packaging was still like wink wink.
Yeah.
But they had one, it was like a marijuana pipe, like a traditional like glass blown little pipe guy. Except this one was like made out of candy, and it was edible. It was like, that's the most disgusting thing I could ever think of wanting to eat.
For some of these guys, Tom.
It's like the thing that that has ash all over it. That's what you want to eat.
You rinse it off.
And apparently, it said on the packaging that it was, it could like withstand a lighter. So it's like, you want to eat something that doesn't burn either?
Tom, what have you've eaten a million things at Empire. What are in all those Hot Pockets you've been eating?
I ate all that asbestos that one time, but I didn't know what I thought it was popcorn. I didn't know what it was. So they had, weed stuff there. But then the whole back of the store, Tim, was sex toys and lubricants and various accoutrements.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tom, I think these religious people are right to want to close. They're trying to close the mall down 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be able to go shopping ever.
Well, at least
Churchies
Spencer's.
right.
At least Spencer's, they should. It's and like you said, Tim, the kids riding these big stuffed animals by, seeing legalize eating ass. Then mommy, daddy, why is ass eating illegal?
Yeah. Then you have to have that conversation with
You
your
have
kids.
to have that conversation where you have to explain, actually, it's not.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the kid goes, thank God.
Thank God. I didn't want to grow up in a world where that was illegal. So that was my trip. I went to Taco Bell too while I was at the mall.
Cool.
I went
Sounds
to
like
Taco
a real
Bell.
worthwhile trip.
I'll tell you what, Tim, I had a unique experience with Taco Bell. It's the first time
This is our Christmas shopping episode, Tom.
First time I ever got a taco at Taco Bell that was too hot to eat. It was like
too spicy or too
temperature wise. Like the way
Wow.
they keep like the coffee at these places so hot. That's the way they were keeping this taco. They had to wait for it to cool off.
Wow, Tom, the indignity
What's
of
going on with that?
Served hot food.
What happened to Taco Bell serving food in a way you can eat right away?
Yeah, I'd like some Taco Bell right now.
Well, Hop in your car and in just an hour, Tim, you can be at the mall. What's it called? The American Dream Mall.
Tom, when we were roommates in Greenpoint, we lived really close to a Taco Bell.
I think you brought this up last week.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't go there all the time.
It was across a busy road, and
Tom, again. I'm gonna get hurt skiing on my knees.
Yeah, I didn't want to get hit by a car. I didn't want to run across.
I don't want to get hit. I don't like to cross the road.
Well, and also, like, when I wanted Taco Bell most was when I was drunk and should not be like running across a 4-lane road.
Tom, you can't cross the street when you're drunk.
Not reliably, no.
I'm gonna put you in a home.
There wasn't a crosswalk there, Tim. You had to like run across a highway, basically.
There was a crosswalk. No, that's not. You're misrepresenting.
You had to go so far out of your way to go to the crosswalk. It wasn't even worth it. I would go to that. I would go to that McDonald's over there a bunch.
Yeah, you would.
I think for me,
across the same road.
I think for me it was that it was like, look, if I'm gonna eat something crappy, most times I'm gonna pick McDonald's over Taco Bell.
It's a foolish move, Tom. Well, I've said it again. I've said it time after time.
It's gotten me this far, Tim. So who's the fool? If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. You can find all our social media links there, all our Discord, our subreddit, all those things. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim.
And check out our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide. This week, the penultimate episode of Forrest Gump. We're done reading the book. All that's left is to go to Bubba Gump Shrimp next week. But here how the book ended and what we thought of it. Tim, would you like to give a tease about what you thought of it?
It's a bad book. It's a ridiculous book, and it's bad, and it's bad in a different way than the movie.
Can you believe that? Only $5 to hear us talking about a bad book for 4 hours at patreon.com/complete guide and much, much more.
I will give it this.
Mm-hmm.
It's the plot is ridiculous enough that it's at least like it's entertaining, or at least you want to know where it goes.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the mall again. Tim, you just keep talking about this mall enough already.
I don't know why you're the one who's got the mall on your
Tim,
mind.
it's an episode about Christmas shopping, and all you keep talking about is the mall. Keep asking me questions about this mall. I mean, we should probably talk a little bit about Christmas shopping.
Yeah, you want to talk about Christmas shopping?
Yeah.
What's your fondest Christmas shopping memory, Tom?
Oh, I was gonna ask you what is the limit on how much you're gonna spend on me this year?
I'm not, Tom. I honestly.
Yeah, there's no limit. If you see the right
Sky's
present, you're gonna have to. And you say Tom would love that. You're gonna have to grab it.
Yeah, I've been doing that throughout the year. Got a little sack of toys for you.
My best Christmas shopping memory. I don't have a good one. I have a bad one of a time that I bought my brother. I was a kid. I bought my brother a present at KB at the mall, and then went to the arcade afterwards. Put my bag down and forgot it. And when I came back, it was gone.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You buffoon. That's a real 80s kid story.
Yeah. I think it I don't think it was the 80s. It might have been the 90s by then. It might have been the 80s. But I was playing a game. I've talked about the game on here before. I can't remember what it's called right now, but it had Wolfman Jack doing voices in the game.
Oh, well, a game like that, you got to devote all your attention to it.
I got to put my bag down. Hold on a minute here.
One time on December 23rd,
mm-hmm.
my mom called me, and she's like, you got your uncle a present, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, am I supposed to? And she's like, yeah, I think you are, because, like, I don't know, we did a thing.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, all right, what should I get him? And she's like, get him cigars. And I was like, first of all, I don't want to get him cigars. And second of all, like, if he smokes cigars, he's like,
he's not going to want whatever I buy at the bodega
exactly.
for him.
She's like, all right, I'll find out what brand. And so she did, and then I was just like walking around, and like I didn't want to, like I didn't know, just like what were I going to do with cigars? I Google it, and it turns out there's a cigar store in Williamsburg, like right near where I lived. And me and friend of the show, Christine, were out Christmas shopping, last minute Christmas shopping, and I was like, I got to stop at this cigar shop that like neither of us knew existed. It was this weird cigar shop, and they had the cigars, and I got them. And it was a very like weird man that worked in the cigar shop.
Yeah, that checks out.
Kind of like you. He seemed old, but he wasn't old. You know what I mean?
I don't seem old.
Yeah, you're like, oh, these kids on there, the things at the mall, and it says eating ass on a shirt.
It says legalizing.
Like these guys.
Although it would be even funnier to just have a shirt that says eating ass.
So this guy, he's checking, he's ringing me up. He's got the cigars. It's December 23rd. Mm-hmm. I never knew this place existed. The way that I was engaging with him, I was like, I think this is like I had it written down.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the way I was engaging with him was like, I think this is a magical store that disappeared.
Yeah, no. And then he said,
"It won't be here
we
tomorrow when I come back."
Well, he said to us as we were leaving, we're walking out of the store. He's like, "Thanks, guys." And if I don't see you, have a nice Christmas.
Like he was going to see you the next day?
Yeah. Like, oh, no, I was planning on coming back to the cigar shop that I'd never been to on Christmas Eve.
I didn't
also
finish all the shopping I needed to do at the cigar store. I forgot there were other people on my Christmas list that I also wanted to buy cigars for.
Yeah. I gave those cigars to my uncle, and he was very clearly like, oh, great. Like, I'll throw these out as soon as you leave.
But the big question, Tim, did you see the cigar shop man before Christmas?
Never seen him before again in my life.
Wow.
And actually, Tom, I searched for that cigar shop many times.
Uh-huh.
And I went there and knocked on the door, and an old lady answered, and she said, why, there hasn't been a cigar shop here in 50 years.
Wow. Tough real estate market, yeah.
No. It was a ghost. It was a ghost store.
Yeah, well, it's a bad time to start a business, Tim. It's no surprise they shut down. A lot of businesses moved online. We'll see you next week.
Merry Christmas.
That was a HeadGum podcast.